I believe, first, my background is in education, in special education and administration in education. And by the way, Peter, I didn't learn to read until the 3rd grade. So maybe there's something about not learning to read and going into politics that's going on up here. I don't know.
I can explain it.
Okay. And being from Lamoille County, and before I got in the Senate and was in education, I was asking and purporting then that we should have one district in Lamoille County. I still don't understand why we don't have one district in Lamoille County. I believe that going to larger supervisory administrative regions makes a lot of sense. And if I'm governor, I'd say, okay, let's see how far we can get in 5 years. Because a lot of these little districts, you can be the best superintendent, the best principals in the world, but if you have little tiny resources to manage, there are only so many ways you can move things around to manage. There are only so many educational opportunities you can offer to the kids in your district. When you get to a larger administrative size, you as principals, you as a superintendent, you've got a lot more flexibility, and you can offer a lot more opportunities. You can figure out more opportunities to save money. You can say, gee, over in this school in 3 years, we don't need 3 4th grade teachers, we're only going to need 2, but we need somebody else over here. In a larger, if we're all in the same district, some people are leaving, some people are retiring. I as a superintendent can see that, and I can see those work patterns, and I have a lot more in the way of resources that I can manage. And that has got to lead. It's going to make large purchasing. It's going to make the management of your personnel. It's going to make the development of programs for kids with special needs much easier, because I, as the manager, will have more resources to manage. And once I can do that as a district, then we will be able to offer every single child so many more educational opportunities. Because what's happening in these small districts, as property taxes are going up, educational opportunities are being taken away from children. There goes the art, there goes the music, there goes this. What accelerated classes? That's not what we want to have happen in education. So I think that we get to the larger management districts. That's what's going to save the small schools. That's how we make small schools continue to be viable. The other thing that's happening with cost is special education. And I'm not sure how much of it are costs that are being shifted from the general fund, as it is the needs of children are so much more radical and severe today than they used to be. And it makes a lot of sense to offer opportunities to help those kids and their families through the schools, because you've got the kids there. And I believe most parents want to be good parents. And when you can offer them opportunities to help their children, they will take advantage of them. But what's happened is in these special programs, we write it into the kids' individual programs, and then the property tax pays for it. The general fund needs to pay for it. I talked with the Joint Fiscal Office today. They're the folks who do all the budget numbers, because we're looking next year at a deficit, again, of about $120 million. I said, what's driving that? Well, we talked about health care. About 30 million of it is going to be Medicaid, which a lot of that is health care costs, things that the state has to pay. 30 million of it's going to be the rest of state government. $60 million is about education and the money that the general fund needs to be shipping into the education fund just to keep spending at the levels that we're spending and to pay our share of the retirement. So half of the deficit that the general fund is looking at next year is caused by education. If we don't figure out how to reduce what we're spending on education over time period, to meet our responsibility for the general fund is breaking the back of other general fund services. To not meet them, this is the no-win situation, is breaking the back of the top of the property taxpayer. So I think together we have got to find ways to reduce the cost And I sincerely believe that going to larger administrative districts is the way to do it, and dealing honestly with special education.